I only have a small amount of time to dedicate to filming this week, so we're going to keep this video short, simple, to the point, and I'm going to show you guys how to make the easiest DIY bedding ever. Maybe not ever, but if I say that in the video, then I can also title the video that, and it's technically not clickbait. Not only is the bedding easy to make, but it's also inexpensive, and based on the fact that many of you guys have asked me what brand it is and where I buy it from, it apparently looks good. Apparently looks good enough to be a commercial bedding, so I'll take that compliment. Look at me acting as though I came up with the idea. I'm sure this will come as a surprise to hardly any of you that this homemade bedding is made from kitchen tissue. This cost me $1.99 from Jumbo, and it's 360 sheets of 2-ply kitchen tissue. Very absorbent, which is important. No matter where in the world you live, you will be able to find kitchen tissue in any supermarket, and you can find it in bigger rolls than this, smaller rolls than this, the same size rolls than this. I gotta stop shoving the roll into your face. But that is what makes it one of my favourite budget-friendly beddings, because it is accessible to everyone, which is a huge problem with commercial beddings. Commercial beddings are not accessible to everyone. I have had so many people say, hey, why don't you use this bedding or that bedding or the other bedding? Because we don't have it. And the other great thing about kitchen tissue is it's available in different colours. Now, unfortunately, I have only ever found the coloured tissue in the form of little square napkins rather than on great big rolls, which would make it more convenient. I was told by a viewer that you can buy rolls of coloured tissue on Amazon, which is cool if money isn't an issue for you and if you have Amazon available in your country. We don't have Amazon here, and it's really expensive to get rolls of coloured tissue shipped to you from other countries, so we'll keep using the square ones. So, how do we make the tissue go from looking like this to looking like this, which is much nicer and fluffier and more usable? Well, we must call upon the help of the Ninja Turtles' arch nemesis, Shredder. TMNT. This is my shredder. It's very old, and the blades are very dull, and I kind of hate it. I bought it about 4 years ago from a thrift shop, so it was already used and unwanted. Unfortunately, better shredders cost more money. I will add here, if you don't have a shredder, don't feel like you have to go out and buy one, although I do think it's a good investment. If you don't want to go out and buy one, you can shred the tissue by hand. It'll take you a little bit longer and it won't look the same as this bedding, of course. But you can do it. If you really need to, you have no other options, you can do it by hand, it's possible. But if it's bedding you plan on making often, definitely worth investing in a shredder, even if it's just a little one like this. And all you have to do is run your tissue through the shredder until you have enough of it to fill up your enclosure. As I said, very easy. Couple of extra tips though. Number one, don't shred too much tissue in one sitting because your machine will overheat and then you run the risk of starting a fire or breaking your machine. Both kind of bad, one worse than the other. Actually, I think if your machine caught on fire, that would also break it. So either way, you're breaking your machine. Don't run it for too long. I normally run my shredder for about 60 seconds or so, and then I give it a break of a few minutes just so it can cool down, and then I shred some more, and I just keep doing that until I have as much bedding as I need. Tip number two, if you want to mix different colors of tissue together, I recommend putting the different colors in through the shredder at the same time, instead of doing, let's say, a batch of red and then a batch of yellow and then a batch of blue and then trying to mix them up. If you run the two different tissues together at the same time, it makes it a lot easier to mix those colors in at the end. I mean, you can do it either way if you want, but I have found that putting the two different colors in together definitely saves you a little bit more time. Tip number three, when you finish shredding all your tissue, you can just put it straight into the enclosure if you want to, but I have found if you take the shreddings and kind of bunch them up and rip them apart in your hands, it actually creates a much fuller and much fluffier look, which just looks nicer in the cage. I've also found that my hamsters have an easier time building burrows in it if you fluff it up, as opposed to if you just put it straight in. So there we are, that is one of the easiest and most inexpensive DIY beddings that you can make. It is available to you no matter where in the world you live. You can do it with a shredder, you can do it without a shredder. It's warm, it's absorbent, it looks cute, it doesn't have great odor control, but no paper bedding does, so you do need to keep on top of that. But just as with any substrate, as long as you are spot cleaning regularly, you shouldn't have any issues with smell. So I hope the video was helpful. I've got to do some cage cleaning this week, so I have a heck ton of new bedding to shred because I have two 1,000 square inch cages to fill up with it. Love the winter time. But would you like to take a guess at what the total cost is for me to fill up